Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural then and now.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. Do you want me to say in the quarantine? In the quarantine, this is our life now. Ooh-hoo-hoo.
We're going to be here for at least another year.
Yeah. And I've gotten used to it.
Me too. I'm fine with it. Well, actually, I'm not completely fine because I do have to do a lot more work than I did before. But, doing what I need to do.
I'm not doing what I need to do, but I aspire to have that energy.
Well, other people count on me for the other stuff. So that's why I have to do it.
See, this is why I need a dog. Maybe I need that. I need other people counting on me to do stuff. Yeah. Speaking of you counting on me, I'll do the stuff that I said I was going to do for you. The presentation, the slides, the screenshots I sent you.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
She got it. Welcome to Don't Blame Me, guys. This is an advice podcast where you call in, you leave us voicemails, tell us about the shit that's going on in your life, and we do our very best to help you out. The advice that we give is from our hearts, from our souls, from
I don't have a heart.
From the cold, dead abyss of the cavity that is my body. And we are not professionals by any means. We're not therapists, though we do preach therapy. We're the friends you go to when you want the honest truth. We don't hold back. We don't sugarcoat. And if you are upset by that, the title is Don't Blame Me. So can't sue us. And
anyone can sue for anything, but you'll just be like Trump and not be successful and embarrass yourself.
Truly the most embarrassing thing ever. And my fantastic producer, co-host, and glue to my glitter is Melisa D. Monts.
Hello.
And if you're watching the video, you can see the waves, the nice little waves we're giving. Our videos are on Patreon if you want to watch the video version of this podcast, but you're listening to it right now. So maybe you'll switch over and watch the video. Maybe, what usually happens is people hear the first call and they're like, oh man, I need to know what their reactions are. And you can see our faces over on there. So the phone number, if you want to call us, is 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. We ask that you write out your call beforehand and then you read it. It's super condensed and really easy for you to get the the message you want to get across and make sure you don't leave out any important details. And we just will bow down, sing your praises. If you do that, make sure it's under 3 minutes long. And if you're 18, you're solid. But if you're under 18, make sure you have your parents' permission before you call in. And yeah, what's new with you?
Working 9
to 5.
The midnight oil. Working and adopting Georgia. Have you adopted Georgia?
No.
You should go adopt Georgia.
Okay. I'm opening a tab
for this runoff election that they're having. And, if you live in Georgia, get out, vote for Ossoff and Warnock. And if you don't live in Georgia, you can still volunteer to do like phone banking. You can adopt the state. You can donate funds to help with the runoff. But also, if you're 17 and turning 18 before the election in January, you can still register and vote. So that's what I'm passionate about right now.
And you can do text banking too if phone calls are not something that you're comfortable doing. Text banking is a great way to do it too. When you first said, if you're in Georgia, get out. And I was like, period. Like, it was like, if you're in Georgia, get out and vote.
Yes, and vote. No, stay.
No,
if you're in Georgia, stay.
Stay. Georgia, you're doing amazing, sweetie. Like, you're doing fucking amazing. We're all so proud of you. And we're there with you. And, I follow this guy on Twitter who was like, I don't have a job. Should I just like move to Florida for like the next couple of months? And I was like, well, fucking facts on the ground, fucking getting shit done. It's
what
never
about
over.
You? What's new with you? You got a new show.
I do. I have a show coming out on Food Network Kitchen, the Food Network Kitchen app. It comes out on November 17th.
So it's out now.
It's out now. And all of the episodes drop at once so you can binge it. The show is called Just Ask the Baker, and it's, baking. And then there's like a little bit of combo of advice thrown in there. So listeners, you might like it, though I do want to give you a warning beforehand. Food Network is a family channel, so there is no swearing. There was swearing on the day, accidentally, obviously, but that is not in the final.
It was cut around.
Edit. Yeah. Well, also it's not like, because like the whole thing's like live streamed, like when we like are shooting in like COVID times, like it's live streamed to like everybody at home. And so like I can't, most of the time people are watching it, they would like be casting it to their TV and then working on their like desktop or working on their laptop if they didn't have like a double monitor system. But like I was like, I can't swear because like I'm literally being projected into like the family homes of these people, and they have like kids who they're doing home learning and all of that. And I was like, everyone's watching me.
They should put on headphones.
True. But I am very familiar with a hot mic. So I've gotten a lot better at it. I am. It's because I got one of my ex-boyfriend and I started dating because I was talking about how hot he was on a fucking hot mic, and he was on the crew and heard me. And I looked up and all of the crew was looking at me like, and they were all like my older brothers and they were like so excited. And then I was like, and he was like being all like bashful. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I learned my lesson.
Wow, Megan. What a story. I've learned so many new facts about you today. Just when I think that I know everything.
There's so much more to know. She's an enigma wrapped in a riddle.
And if you add "and diamonds,"
then that's Erica Jane.
Erica Jane.
Anything else, or should we hop into our update? Hop, hippity hop, hop, hop. Let's get to our update.
Okay, so yeah, I'm giving an update from, I think it was like season 6, episode 2. And I was worried about making friends in college during the pandemic. And so my school did not end up going completely online. They went for like a mixed instruction. However, my school, or like my classes, are all online. But I still decided to live in the dorms just because, I thought it would be hard to find a quiet place to like take tests and stuff in my house. So, and I just wanted to get out. I did struggle making this decision because I thought it might be like a little reckless. I mean, I am using like a communal bathroom and stuff like that. But I just decided to go with it. And we do get tested like every week. And so I haven't gotten it yet. And I am being safe, so no worries there. But I have met this like really nice and funny group of people here. I'm starting to like figure out more of like who I am, which I didn't really do in high school. I kind of was just like all about work in high school. So this experience has been like really nice so far. But that being said, I still struggle with some anxiety around these other people. And like every now and then I just like have a bad day where I think like no one actually likes me and like, you know, they're all trying to avoid me or whatever, which I know isn't true, but I can't stop feeling like that.
Yeah.
And my family does have a history of like anxiety and stuff. So it's not like mental health is like a taboo topic in my family. However, like I kind of feel like since my sister has had much more like intense struggles with mental health, I don't really want to like burden them with what I feel like isn't as big of a deal. But like lately I've started to feel like, you know, help would like going to therapy or something would just make life easier. And there's really no reason not to, but I'm just not really sure how to approach it with my family with this history with my sister and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess that's about it.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I mean, hello. I literally relate all the time. I'm like, does everybody hate me? And it's hard because you have that, you essentially have to like, what you're doing is therapizing yourself and like trying to tell yourself like, oh no, blah, 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 this doesn't feel like this, not this. And as my therapist has said, because I was very hesitant to go to therapy, I'm a fixer, like I'm like, I don't even want anyone to help me do anything. Like, I'm just going to get my shit done and do my own shit. I've always been really independent. And she like had told me, and she was like, well, here's the thing. Like, if you could figure out how to do this, like you would have, like, you don't want to feel like this. And you are so stubborn and so determined. Like if there was an answer that like lied in you, you would already have it and you don't. And that's okay. And I mean, obviously, like we don't know your family or anything like that. But I think like when we compare our mental health struggles to other people's, because like that was a huge thing that was like stopping me from getting the help, because I was like, oh my God, other people have it so much worse. But also other people have it a lot better too. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing. I'm like, oh, it's not this like either you're on, it's I wouldn't even really call it like a spectrum. Like there are people who are, I mean, I wouldn't call it so black and white of people who like have mental health problems and people who don't. Like people have mental health problems, like it ebbs and flows. And also because like most of the time they're like a lot of the time like shorts, they're situational, but there are some things like my brain chemistry is just fucking different. And there are going to be times in my life where I'm better than I've been. And there are times going to be worse than I've been. But the comparison stuff can get really hard because I can totally see, like I have friends who are like siblings who have the same kind of mentality of like, well, I don't want to burden parents with like any more and that kind of stuff. But I mean, I think the thing that can be really like learned and taught from when mental health is not like a taboo subject in a family and it's been something a family's been through before is like a family knows how to handle it. And like a family like knows how to have those conversations, and it makes it something where it's like, oh, we can talk about this. Like, this is something we've been through before, and like we can work on it. And there's never a time in which like your mental health is ever a burden, and that's anxiety talking. You know, like that's the anxiety part of where it's like, well, I feel I don't want to like add any more things onto this, but also it's hereditary. So like I think of like when I think of like me eventually having kids, I mean, it's fucking inevitable. It's inevitable they're going to have some fucking shit going on upstairs. Like something like, and it can be, I mean, I can't imagine how hard it is when you have like a close relationship with your family and you're trying to, you know, explain that kind of stuff too. But I mean, we love therapy here.
We do. Does your school have a program there where you can go and like they have like in your health center that you can go to therapy?
They do. However, like I'm still on, I think they incorporate it with like their own like insurance plan thing. So I'm still on like my parents' insurance. So I I'd still have to like talk to my parents about it, which I should anyways. But I think my issue is I don't know. I don't like attention on me like all at once. So like telling them, I just know it's going to make me feel like weird. So I don't know. Do you have any tips about like approaching that conversation?
It depends on what you're looking. Like, if you're just being like, hey, I'm dealing with a lot of anxiety and stuff right now. And part of this anxiety is I don't really want to talk about it. I just kind of like really want to go to therapy. And I'm feeling irrationally feeling like, because like my sister has all of that other stuff that she's gone through, that I don't really have like a right to feel like this, but like I know that I do. And I know that I should talk to someone about this in therapy. And I'm essentially just like word vomiting this text message to you because I'm letting you know I'm going to go see the therapist or like the school counselor about it. And I am not really in a place where I want to talk about it right now, but like I just want to let you know where I'm at, and I will check back in with you when I can talk about this again. Mm-hmm. And I love you.
Yeah. Anything else?
I think that was it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Of course. Amazing. We love it. We love an update. We love an update that involves more of us saying, hey, go to therapy.
Yeah.
I think this one will be
good
helpful
for everyone.
Because I think this is like probably the most relatable like call that we've had, you know?
Yeah.
As of late. Not that everyone can't relate to like, you know, like, oops, I'm in love with a man who accidentally killed somebody. Or like, I fucked my stepbrother. Like, actually, apparently that one's a little more relatable than we thought.
Always knew.
You always knew. You always knew. You always knew about that Alabama type
and
shit.
You were looking at me like, this isn't a thing. And I was like, yeah, it is.
Ugh. Grody.
Right.
Okay.
All right, let's get into the first call.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. Love the podcast. I'm calling because I'm 21 and just moved back to New York after living at home for 6 months. And my best friend from when I started college randomly stopped talking to me. I know that he's trying to date this girl who told him that she does not want a relationship, but they can stay friends. But I found out that all the things that he used to do with me, he now does with her. So I just feel pretty replaced by this girl. But we haven't really talked since I got back to New York. And we used to do everything together and be so close. And when we were in private, he would imply things that kind of suggested that he was into me, but I never said anything about it because I didn't really see it as a problem. So we just never talked about it. And he really put a lot of effort into keeping in contact with me before we both moved back to New York. He toured apartments for me, picked up keys, helped me move. The only time he's actually talked to me, though, since I have been back was 2 weeks ago when he was drunk, and he pulled me aside and went on this whole rant about how he's been in love with me for all these years and how it's always been about me and it'll always be about me, and how he missed me so much. But ever since then, like, I've tried reaching out and he keeps making excuses and is talking to me in a way that's way colder than he usually is, like over text. And every time I see him, he just like won't look at me or talk to me. And I really know I should move on and just not talk to him because he's being such an asshole. But I feel really hurt and I miss him because he's also one of my best friends. Also, I think I'm starting to realize that I also have feelings for him, but I just feel like it's too late. So any advice would be really appreciated because this is a really stressful situation and I'm really sad because I feel like I lost my best friend, but also like I would love to talk to him about this and he just is not down for it. So yeah, would love the advice. Thank you. Listen.
As we were going through this call, as you were speaking, we were just like one step ahead of you. We knew where everything was going. He's in love with you. He's always been in love with you. Clearly, he has feelings. So I think the thing is that he's being cold to you because he admitted his feelings for you and you didn't really say anything back in return. And he's like, she doesn't feel anything for me, so I'm going to move on with my life. And the only way I can move on is by cutting her off. And so like, and then you saying that you think you have feelings for him. Do you actually have feelings for him, or is it because he's not there now and you missed that time that you had with him?
I would like to know how you felt about like the other girls that he dated. Like, I understand missing a friend. I will also say, like, when it's like, oh, like all the things that we used to do together, he like now does with his girlfriend. That's not a thing. Like, that's not like a friendship thing. Like, you don't replace a friend. Like, that's just no.
Because they were like low key dating and she didn't realize it.
So if you felt think back to like that time or like any girls that he's dated, have you disliked the girls that he's dated? Like, have you disliked them? Like, have you not thought that they like are good together or whatever? Because then that is like, you know, projecting onto them that like you want to be them versus like oh, I miss my friend, but I'm happy. I'm super happy for him. Like, I miss him a little bit, but like, it does seem like there's a little more animosity there, which leads me to believe that like you might have real like feelings for him. But you have to tell him, and you can't, like, he put himself out there and then you essentially rejected him, and he like is like he's trying to get over you. So like you can't expect this to be kind of like a really smooth way for you to reveal your feelings. Like, he's not going to really want to, I can see he probably doesn't want to hang out with you. He doesn't really want to talk to you. So like, you might just have to fucking text him and say, hey, I have feelings for you. I need to talk to you about it. Like, he might just be fucking ignoring everything that you're saying because like he doesn't want to hang out with you. And so like, if you're trying to set up the perfect circumstance to tell him this, like, you might not get to, but you also have to recognize, like, do you like you said, do you like him or do you like the attention, and do you miss that attention? I think like there can be times where it's like, oh wow, I had no idea that I had feelings for you. Like, I've had that before where you just like don't have a fucking clue. But I would also ask like your mutual friends or people in your life. And if you're like, because like every time I've like fallen for someone, like my friends are the ones who are like, you fucking like them. And I'm like, oh, I do? Oh shit. Okay. And so I would ask them, like, do I really have feelings for him? Like, is this it? But if you don't and you're not sure, you just need to like let him live his life and like let him get over you. And he's not being an asshole. Like, he's protecting himself and trying to get over you. And that doesn't make him a bad person at all. And expecting someone who like confesses their love for you to be okay with like going back to doing essentially what you described is that you guys were dating and then going back to that, like the platonic dating and everything being fine. Like, that's impossible. That's not, and it's not fair or nice to him at all. But figure out how you feel and figure out how you fucking feel before you tell him. Because like, if you just are like, oh no, I like you, and then like picture making out with him. Can you picture having sex with him? Like, does that make you go, ugh? Or are you like, I'm down? Like, what does that make you feel? Because like, that's, I mean, the way that I can like, you know, you can tell of like, am I sicked out by the idea of seeing you naked? Like, is you inside of me like making my skin crawl? Like, or am I like, I could fucking do that? Can I flick the bean to an image of you? You know?
Yeah.
Figure that out before you tell him.
Figure it out before you tell him. And if you figure it out and you don't have any sexual desires or any desires to be with him in any way beyond friendship, then you just got to let him go.
Yeah. Oh, I should also clarify, that's if you are sexually attracted to people in general.
That's why I changed it to like, or being with him in any other way other than friendship. Yeah.
If that's not something that you are, if you're on the ACE spectrum. So, but yeah, if that kind of a thing. You know, I do hope that you guys like each other. That would be sweet. It's very rom-com.
So cute.
Give us an update. We would love to know. We can make our own Hallmark movie about it.
Or just like watch any Hallmark movie and it's already been told.
Truly. Except she doesn't own it. Do you own an inn? Is he a lumberjack?
Did he go away to the big city and then came back?
He was a big corporate man, and all he wanted to do was burn down the whole town to build skyscrapers. And then he met the lady from the inn who showed him the true meaning of Christmas. And he met an old man on the side of the road who he thought was just a homeless man. And instead, oh no, he figures out it's actually Santa. It's literally every fucking one of them, and I still watch them all.
All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. Big fan of the podcast. FYI, I am an Aries sun, a Leo moon, and a Gemini rising. So I began working with this company last year as a social media manager, and due to COVID, their business had to become an online business, as a lot of businesses are. So I was kind of leading that transition and kind of helping making a new subdivision of this small business. I'm a college student, by the way. And last June, in June 2020, I actually left the job because my boss was kind of getting a little too much, and I just couldn't give the proper time commitment, and I just couldn't really handle working with her much anymore. And then so she hired other people, and then in August she asked me to come back as a consultant because I feel like that's something that a lot of people do, that when you leave a job, you say oh, hey, I'll consult. So I did that, except she kind of took it as I'll come on as whatever job I was doing before, except now she's not paying me anymore. And that was the most brutal month of my life, especially trying to navigate online school and stuff. And I was working with my coworkers, and we all were kind of in agreement that this was not well. So what actually ended up happening is me and my coworker ended up quitting together. And as soon as we quit, one of my friends who's still there, she got my job and got promoted, so good for her. But my boss started spreading lies and started kind of gossiping with the other coworkers about me, specifically me, and kind of making it all my fault, be oh, I'm the reason why my coworker left, and making up a lot of this stuff. And I just don't know how to handle it. And I know I'm not in the company anymore, and I don't really need to be in that realm anymore. But I guess it just hurts with the fact that this is happening behind my back. Any advice you guys can give, that'd be great. Once again, love the podcast. Bye.
People consult, and I don't say this as a knock to you at all, to your boss. The reason why people quit jobs and then consult is you get paid more money.
You get paid more money to consult.
So she essentially, your boss essentially went from she was oh, you have a paying job, and now I'm going to give you an internship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, this is fucking annoying as shit. I think it can be, especially because you're a fucking college student, so you still have to deal with a lot of, I mean, we always have to deal with authoritative figures in our life or whatever, but especially in that's such a manipulative sort of fucking thing. And then to talk shit about you, that's the age of which you still have teachers and shit, and it's essentially a teacher talk, you know what I mean? That same sort of dynamic, not that's just it's so gross and manipulative and ugh. And I'm assuming you found out because your other coworkers told you.
Yeah.
And that, again, I'm assuming that you had your other coworker quit with you at the same time. And it sounds you're happy for the one who got promoted and you guys are close. So it doesn't sound like whatever your ex-boss is saying is getting to that. You know what I mean? It's not tarnishing your image in anybody else's mind. The only thing it's doing is making her look worse and making her look bad. But you've got a lot of fire in you and your chart. And so I feel you just want to tell her off. And if you want to send if you want to pull a strongly worded email out and say that, but at the same time, then like that's like, you know, through the other coworkers and all of that, I would just like tell them to stop telling you about it or make a voodoo doll of her.
When I left, this was like my first professional job in the entertainment industry. I was working as a receptionist of a production company, and then I got a better job, and I like sent my boss an email saying, hey, I'm leaving, you know, given 2 weeks notice because she was based in New York. So it wasn't like I could like go and tell her in person. Immediately after I sent her the email, she sends the other receptionist an email and says, Melissa really fucked you over, didn't she? And then she sends me an email that says, oh my gosh, congratulations. And she like didn't think that the other girl was going to tell me.
Do they not understand collective trauma?
Dude, collective trauma. We were getting underpaid for this job. Like, it was no one's like end goal to be working at this job. Also, like, I mean, like, end goal to be working in this position. Like, I'm moving. Like, you're not a receptionist forever at this company. Like, what did you expect from me? And I gave you 2 weeks notice. And I didn't have to do that because they were ready for me to like start that day. I was being courteous. And so like, these people that are in these type of positions, I've been in so many positions where I wasn't like the boss. I was very much like low on the totem pole, and it's a power trip. Like, they do it to show dominance, to show power, because it's not about you. It's about the next person that's in line. They're trying to get them in line. It's like, if you leave, this is going to happen to you. I'm going to sit here and talk shit about you. It's like, we're a family, even though like you're not a family. We're a family, and if you leave the family, then fuck you. And so it's not about you. It's about her asserting her dominance over everyone else that works there. And I've like made it a point never to be that person.
Well, you're right. It's like a manipulation tactic. It's like when you get a new friend and they start talking shit about like someone else that like, or you like in a friend circle and someone starts talking shit about like another one of your friends. And it's like, oh, you probably do that about me. Like, or like, now I'm afraid to like say anything because like, I know that this is how you feel. And like, I don't trust you to then not turn around and do this exact same fucking thing to me. It's true. It's like, it's so not about you. It is like if you leave me, this is like, these are the consequences. Like, I'm going to talk like this about you. Ugh.
Just know it's not about you, and tell your coworkers or former coworkers to stop repeat it back to you.
Yeah. It's just not worth it, because all you're going to want to do is like confront her, and all that will do is, and I mean, that's a really good incentive for your coworkers not to tell you, because you're like, here's the thing. If you keep telling me, like, I'm going to cuss her out. Like, I'm going to like bitch her fucking out.
And she'll know where it came from.
Yeah. And so like, you need to stop telling me, because like all of the information you're giving me is fueling my anger towards her. And if I unleash that, then she knows who told me. So, but that is fucking frustrating and fucking annoying, especially being a college student on top of it.
Yeah. You don't need that drama. There's better things.
Strongly worded Glassdoor review.
Yeah.
Those are fun to look at. If you've ever like been curious, like, I just love it. I love them. Monts and I will do that sometimes. We'll do dramatic readings of.
Also, DM me, because I know somebody that's looking for somebody to run their social media stuff. Actually, I forgot about that.
Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Okay, everybody, we are back from our break, and let's get into the rest of the calls.
Hey, Megan and Melissa. First off, I love your podcast. I'm just going to jump right into it. So my family expects me to come home for Christmas this year. The main problem being we're in a fucking pandemic. I'm currently in school and I tutor remotely, so they know like I could come home. Like there's no like work keeping me here. For context, my family is like super conservative, fully drinking the Trump Kool-Aid. I once made the mistake of saying I like to watch John Oliver with my boyfriend, and my aunt threw a peanut from her mouth at my head, full on crazy. So they don't wear masks. They believe it's like not that bad, and they also think that living in a rural town makes them safe. My mom recently told me they went to Costco and my dad just couldn't wear a mask. So he took it off and just walked around Costco without a mask on. He has asthma and he blames it on that. But I looked it up and it says that only if you have like extremely severe asthma, you can wear a mask. So he has no excuse other than just being ignorant. Next is my sister. She is currently in college and she's just at the phase where she wants to like party and have fun. I see on Snapchat all the time that she's at like a different party at least once a week, just with so many people, not at all socially distancing. And I've talked to her about it and she said, quote unquote, if I get it, I get it, which is infuriating. I've told her multiple times it's more about her giving it to someone else than her getting it, even though it is very serious if she gets it. So I just don't know how to like tell my parents, like, nah, I don't want to come home for Christmas. They're just going to make it like a political thing because unfortunately this pandemic has been politicized. So my main question is like, how do I have a conversation with my parents when they just don't want to listen to me and they don't believe what I believe? It's just so unbelievably frustrating. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Okay, so I myself am not going home for the holidays. And my parents, I mean, they haven't been perfect, as I've said on this podcast. They've not been perfect when it comes to staying at home and not being with friends and things. But like for the most part, they wear masks out. And
it's not from an ignorance standpoint. Mm-hmm. It's from like, older people standpoint.
Yes. And so they begged me for the longest time, like, come home. You can quarantine, you can stay upstairs for 14 days. And I was like, that's not going to happen. My nieces and nephews are going to come in the room. Like, it's not going to happen. Also, I don't feel safe flying on a plane with the air circulating. I also have a respiratory condition. So, like, I'm high risk as it is anyway. So I'm not going home. And I told them, I was like, I know this for you, caller, this is more difficult for you to explain to them. And like every time I get on the phone with my parents, they're like, we want you to come home. It'll be fine, blah, blah, blah. And I told them, I was like, if you love me, then you'd stop telling me to come home. Because what you're doing is that you're putting me in danger. You want to put me in danger. And then I'm not like, that's not cool. And then on top of that, I love you guys too much to put you in danger. Now, I know that's not the same situation for you because your parents don't think that this essentially exists. But I would just, just put your foot down and just say, I'm not coming. And what are they going to do? Show up to where you are? No. Like, if you don't come, you don't come. And they can be mad at you. But guess what? You'd rather them be mad at you than for somebody to die.
Yeah. How much do you like your parents? Like, how much do you love your family? Because I think there's also like, this is a trying time for like a lot of people, and like Trump's America has brought out the absolute like worst in people. And I've had a couple of conversations with people in like DMs and stuff who have family members who are very much fully in it. And like the only thing that like there is to do, and like what professionals have said, it's like it's cult deprogramming. That's what you have to put people through to get out of this. And like there are professionals who do cult deprogramming. Like that's not the responsibility of like a kid. Not even, I don't mean like you are like a child, but like it's not responsibility of their child. And also it's no one's responsibility to do that. Like that is something that is fucking so fucking hard. And I think that obviously like families and relationships vary person to person, but you are thinking a lot about how they are thinking of you and they're not thinking of you. Like you're concerned about their, like you don't want to upset them. You don't want X, Y, and Z. And like, I understand like not wanting to cause, most of the time when people don't want to cause in these situations, when you clearly are on the right side of history, a lot of time people don't want to have those conversations about this stuff. Not because you don't believe in what you stand, like you don't, it's not because you don't believe in what you're saying or you don't stand by what you're saying. It's because you were wanting to preserve a relationship with your family and they're not trying to preserve that with you. Like they're not giving you that same courtesy of any of this at all. And it can really suck to recognize that. But if you are taking the burden of having a positive relationship with your family, if you're taking all of that burden, you're going to crumble. Like that's impossible to fucking do. If like there are some people who are able to have relationships with their family who have differing political views, and that's because of where they fall on the spectrum and how they respect each other. There are some people who aren't like, who have been like fiscally conservative and aren't fully on like the QAnon Trump train, but they like love their kids and they respect their kids and understand that their kids are smart. And if their kids are telling them something, that they're going to listen and then do their own research. But if someone just has those walls up, there's nothing you can do to break those down. Those have to come down, again, cult deprogramming and all of that stuff. But I just think like you said, like have that conversation, like just tell them again, like I've told you before. And like not wanting to make it political, it is political. Like that's what it is. You're like, here's the thing. This is what I would do. But again, also I am a lot and have a very different, different relationship. But I would have been like, here's the thing. I voted for Biden. I think Trump, and I know Trump is a fucking fascist and a white supremacist and he is awful. And I'm not coming home because this pandemic is real and all of this shit is fucking real and people's lives are at stake. And I'm not coming home. Like, and I am disappointed in you as people. And I am, until you can actually have some compassion and human decency and listen to science and everything like that, like I am not going to stand by and like let you harass me or just like be on my fucking ass about doing something that I've stated that I am not comfortable doing for my own safety and my own health and yours and everybody else in the fucking world. And until you can, and until like that's okay and you can respect that, like I'm not fucking talking to you. And then if they call you and like, and they start bringing it up again, it's like, no, I'm going to hang up on you. Like I'm letting you know right now that I'm going to hang up on you. And then if you call again, I'm going to just ignore you. Like there is no like pleasantries until they respect your boundaries.
Right.
And that's something that like, when you respect someone's boundaries, that needs to be like, that's the beginning of the conversation. That's like, I'm respecting your boundaries first. So then, we can have a conversation. I'm not going to fucking, if you don't make that crystal clear, and I'm saying this like as if like to your parents in that sense, like if they don't make it crystal clear that they see and respect your boundaries, they do not fucking deserve these conversations with you. They don't deserve that, because then that's so mentally taxing on you that like you can be having a conversation with them, like trying to update them on your life or whatever. And then suddenly out of the blue, they start spewing some like hateful like shit or whatever. Like that's not fair.
Or
because
taking a peanut out their mouth and throwing it at you.
Oh my God. Like it's just so deplorable and so disgusting. And that's not how families should treat each other. And people who like claim to be like, oh my God, I'm so maternal, I'm so paternal, like love my kids unconditionally. If they can't provide that for you and be that for you, you don't need to be that for them. Mm-hmm. It's not your responsibility. You as a kid do not owe your parents that shit. You don't. And there's this idea that like parents who are assholes or manipulative or whatever that like, oh, well, I brought you into this world. Like I can do like blah, blah. No, you don't. That was their choice. It was their fucking choice. And you don't owe them shit. And you have to focus on your boundaries and your comfortability and stand by that. And they can choose to respect that or not. But you can't bridge that gap in that relationship if they're not going to do it. Because it's fucking impossible.
No. So you just say your piece and let it be.
Mm-hmm. And don't be afraid of ignoring fucking calls. Like Melissa said, what the fuck are they going to do? Show up? Make sure you have locks and they don't have like keys and stuff. But also like the idea that like the peanut reaction was to watching John Oliver. I'm sorry. That's John Oliver? It's not like you said like, oh, so here I was watched like, do you know what I mean? Like John Oliver, like obviously like very political, like left leaning, but like
all he does is spit facts.
Yeah. Literally. He's like probably like it's not like you were like, I was watching Trevor Noah and then it's like, oh, like you're even like any sort of like,
but even Trevor Noah, mainstream, all he does is share facts again.
That's what I mean. Like anything that's on television that needs to be like fact checked, that is like straight that way. It's not like the fact that is the reaction. And then we are not allowed to have like the same adverse reaction when people are like, yeah, so I was watching Ben Shapiro and it's like, oh, I'm just supposed to like agree to disagree and let you have your like absolutely misogynistic, sexist, racist, awful, incorrect statistics and shit. I'm supposed to let you fucking do that and not do anything? Normalize spitting peanuts back on people.
My favorite thing on TikTok right now is people like practicing, like getting their voices ready to say, well, if you don't like it here, you can leave.
I love it. I love the role reversal we've been able to have. I love it. There's like all these TikToks of like Trump supporters like crying about like him losing,
the
and all of the comments are like, "You fucking
the flag on." We lost. That's what it said. It's over.
Died. I died. I like fully fucking died, and all of the comments are like, "You fucking snowflake." Facts don't care about your feelings. And maybe
it's a beautiful place right now.
It is. I was going to say, maybe you just spew some like really political stuff too. So then like they don't even want you there.
Yeah.
You know, just be like, this is what if I came, this is what it would be.
And the thing is, like, the things that you were saying will not be political. They will just be facts.
Literally, science.
Yeah.
Ugh. I hope your boyfriend's family is liberal.
But even so, you guys have each other.
Yeah.
Like, stay where you are, what you say you're going to do anyway, and just be in your bubble and be happy in your bubble. And, you know, they can catch your feelings next year, probably the year after that, but whatever.
Yeah, you need to unplug from your relationship with them if it's going to do is cause you more anxiety and frustration.
Right. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays and best of luck. I do not fucking envy you.
Me either.
Normalize abandoning your family. Sorry, what?
Okay. Next call.
Yeah.
Hi, Megan, Melissa, and probably not guests because of COVID times. So I've been struggling a little bit with feeling like I am really successful in most of my life, except when it comes to dating. So as context, I'm 25. I have a master's degree. I'm starting a great career. I live with a roommate in a city that I really love, and I have wonderful friends and family. And I am really involved in my hobbies and have met great people through that. I live a really full life. except when it comes to dating. It just hasn't really worked out for me the past couple of years. And while I think ultimately, like, I am really happy, I do feel really fulfilled, I can't help but feel like something is missing in my life, because I really would like to get married eventually. I really would like to build a life with someone and have a partner with me. Any advice and I think also, like, I keep my standards pretty high because I think I'm pretty cool and I want someone to kind of meet me at my level, especially when it comes to, like, ambition and drive, because as you might have guessed, I'm a pretty ambitious person and I'm very passionate about the things that I do. I don't work in a career that makes a lot of money, but it is one that makes a big difference in the world, and it's something that I really love and love doing. Do you guys have any advice for kind of dealing with a feeling where you know that you're a good catch, you know that you're a good person, you know that you have a lot to bring to someone that you would date, but it just hasn't really worked out for you for whatever reason? And maybe some advice of kind of maybe places that I wouldn't necessarily think to look going forward. Love you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
This is hard. Like, I'll level with you. This is really fucking hard. And I think this is something a lot of people deal with. This is something I have said multiple times on the podcast. Sydney had a sit down conversation with me, who was like, you're going to fucking die alone if you don't actually date people. Because I was very similar in that kind of sense. I don't think there's anything wrong with having high standards. I think that the difference between having high standards and being picky, because picky to me is like nitpicky and really kind of like surface level. And also picky usually, I mean, not to therapize it, but picky usually means that I'm actually trying to find something wrong because I'm not ready to date and I can't recognize that. But having high standards is totally valid if you know what those things are. And I think that the best advice that I can give when it comes to finding a relationship and someone who meets you where you're at is really just establishing that shit right off the bat. Establishing I'm only going to swipe right on dating apps of people who are over this age, are employed. I'm going to ask these questions right off the bat. I'm going to kind of get those filters and weed those other people out, because that's how you get exhausted. You get exhausted by going through all of these people who are so not your what you're looking for, or when you give people too much, people you don't fucking know don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. I don't know you. I'm going to go based off of what I know, but getting to know someone and and hoping they're going to fit everything, and that versus just straight up asking and normalizing, kind of weeding through those people quicker. And then the dating pool, will it be smaller? Yes. But then, at least right off the bat, those are people who already meet those things that you're looking for in a relationship. And then from there, you see if you're compatible, and you see if off paper and chemistry wise, if you are into them like that. But I would say you're 25. I mean, are there any dating apps for professionals? Isn't there a couple?
I mean, there are, but it's still just the same people that are going to be on Tinder and whatever, because anybody can be on them,
Oh, yeah.
But I would say for me, I'm a single gal. I'm pretty successful.
And you're successful.
And, when I'm in the mood to date, then I date. And when I'm not in the mood to date, I don't date. And right now, during the pandemic, I'm not dating because I don't feel that I need to invest all my time into something for somebody that I potentially, like, if I let them in my bubble, then that's going to be the only person that I'm going to be able to see, because then we've got to, you know, close out the bubble. But saying, like, on that same page, like, you have to, like, put yourself out there. You didn't say if you were, like, you know, like, even pre-pandemic, you didn't say if you were, like, maybe going to, like, events where you're meeting people, or, you know, being on dating apps. And actually, like, you didn't even mention if you were on any dating apps. So what are you doing to put yourself out there?
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest thing.
And again, pre/post pandemic, asking your friends and, like, work friends, especially, and, like, colleagues, saying, like, hey, like, would love to get set up if you know anybody. Like, the people who know you, who you, like, trust, who can kind of, like, figure, like, from their own circle, who they think would be, like, a great fit for you.
Yeah.
And I would also say, like, that if you're on dating apps, what kind of person are you on dating apps? Are you a person who always has the app on your phone and, like, you kind of mindlessly will, like, scroll and then, like, swipe through, and then you, like, won't check it for a couple of days and you'll come back? Or are you the person who checks every single day? Or are you the person who, like, downloads for a month, hates it, then gets rid of it, and then does it again? Because it is a game of numbers on a dating app. Like, it truly is. Like, you actually have to swipe through people that you wouldn't have to do in the real world, like, at all. And so there's going to be more people you're not interested in and more rejection than there are, like, people you like and people who are also into you. Like, that's just more, it's going to be more on both ends. And so I think personally, if you're going to be on dating apps, you have to put the effort into them when you need to figure out which way works best for you. You need to figure out, am I someone who needs to kind of micromanage? And, like, again, post-pandemic, I really want to go on some dates. So I'm going to sign up for these dating apps, and I'm going to make it so I'm going to go on 2 dates a week, and I'm going to, like, message these people, and I'm going to do all of this and, like, have a game plan for how you're going to do it? Or is it, like, it takes me a while to warm up to an idea, so, like, I'm going to keep it downloaded on my phone and then swipe through until I feel more comfortable with it. And then from there, also see which apps you like more. I would assume I would recommend ones that have that are connected to, like, Instagram and, like, Facebook and stuff, so you can see people's, like, you know, more of their, like, job stuff and see what they're into. But then come up with, like, a list of questions that, like, what's really important to you is, like, ambition, and say, like, ask, like, oh, like, what's your what like, what do you do for work? And then from there it's like, oh, so, like, what is that, like, your dream job? Or, like, what's, like, your, if you have, like, an ultimate goal, what's, like, your ultimate, like, career goal or, like, life goal? And you can really just, like, suss it out from there. And anybody who is also attracted to those things isn't going to fucking find it weird. Like, you don't have to, and not that you said that you did this, but, like, we don't have to kind of, I don't know, like, tone down ourselves or, like breadcrumb people and, like, spoon feed people our personalities and what we're looking for, to then hope that that's how we get the outcome we want. Like, the outcome exists whether or not you are straight up right off the bat, or you kind of, like, slowly ease into it. All that, the slow one, all it does is fucking waste your time. Yeah. Like, it's like the same thing when people, like, aren't comfortable asking someone if they're, like, looking for, like, a serious relationship. I'm like, the longer, no, it doesn't matter when you ask that. The answer is the same. The answer's already the fucking same. And so, like, you just ask it now, and then you're not wasting your time. There's really very few things that, like, we can say and do, and, like, the way we go about something that's going to change an answer.
And,
like,
I think during the pandemic, if you have time, this is the perfect time to practice and figure out what you want. You can, like Megan was saying earlier, making a list of what it is that you actually want, and then get on a dating app and just start talking to dudes. And you can, it's easier, you know, because you're not, like, under that pressure. Not that there should ever be pressure, but under that, that, like, end goal of, like, I'm going to go on a date with this person in person. It's like, I'm trying to get to know someone right now. And that's all. It's just about getting to know somebody. So I'd practice.
Yeah. And also, you can be, like, upfront with the people too, where it's like, hey, I've like not really like, I'm like so out of the dating game, and like this pandemic dating is like super weird. Like, can we FaceTime? Like, you know, I just would love to like,
yeah. You treat it like, even if they live like on your street for right now, treat it like you're in a long distance relationship. And then, you know how we always say with long distance relationships, you know, always have like an end goal. If this is someone that you actually like and could be in a relationship with, then you treat it like as an end goal, like eventually we can meet up. If we're going to be safe about it, you know.
Depending on your job too. Is there anybody from like work that you think is like
no, don't date at work.
Okay,
do not date at work.
See, this is my issue. I've never had a normal job, and I'm like, I date everybody.
If you break up, then you're just bringing not just like work drama, but like work like relationship drama and stuff. And
but
I don't think
how
it's
about this I don't think you said I think she's done with her master's program. Was there anybody from like school that you like were kind of like, this is the same thing that you saying, like you can date someone who's like right down the street the same way that you would date someone like long distance, but like, is there anybody you've been into like from like, hello, everybody's like texting people out of the woodwork or talking out of the woodwork, or even asking like old classmates or like coworkers? You can still ask like, hey, I'm like, you know, trying to date. Obviously pandemic dating is hard, and if you're not having success on the apps because it's like, you know, a lot of you're getting tired and not powering through all of the messages of the guys being like, still down to get my dick sucked even though we're in a pandemic, like, you can like tell your like coworkers and people like that, like, look, if anyone you would be like down to set me up with or anything. Also, a lot of people are newly single in this fucking pandemic too.
That's true.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's any secret place where people hide at all. It's just about being more upfront with what you want, and it's going to feel like those people have like been hiding and like they're there all along, but it's just because you're asking the right questions and you're looking for something and you're being specific and intentional, and that's how you find the people that you're actually into.
Yep.
But best of luck. Definitely a hard time to start dating. So if you're a part of our Patreon or our Facebook group, if anybody else has any, you know, experiences or tips on pandemic dating, drop a comment. Drop a line.
All right. Ready for Don't Blame Them?
So fucking ready. This is where a listener from a previous episode. Nope. This is when a listener calls in with their own personal experience from a different call that we've had.
All right. So this is from episode 21 of the season 6, for someone who is renting from the original caller was renting a room in her friend's house. And so this is someone calling with similar experience.
Oh, never mind. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I knew what you were going to say.
Okay.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. So I was calling in about the girl who was moving in to her friend's like house, and her friend owned the house. So recently I finally got out of my lease, but my lease was my like landlord. We weren't really we weren't friends before I met, but before we met and I moved in. But her parents owned the house, and she, you know, found all her roommates. And it was her, one of the guys who was like a boyfriend of her cousins or something, and then 2 other guys who she was like really, really close friends with, like friends since like middle school. And so I was really like the one that she like didn't really know. And I just want to say, like, for starters, I felt like I got really taken advantage of, because she kind of just like wrote whatever she wanted in the lease agreement. So like when I was trying to get rid of my lease and I was trying to find someone to sublet, she literally would like if she wrote in the lease that if she just didn't like the person, she had every right to say no, not renting out to them. So I literally felt like when I was trying to find someone that she would literally like make shit up on the spot. But besides that, I just want to say, like,
at least for me, I felt really alienated in the house because, one, I wasn't really friends with any of them, and two, it was very much like her house and she wanted things done her way. So, like, if you wash her dishes but then left them in the sink for too long, she would, like, text you and be, like, kind of like fucking annoying about it, and would be like, oh, like, you need to clean out your dishes. Like, there's a bunch of us, like, you need to clean out your shit. And I'm like, okay. But, like, yeah, like, it was very much her house. Like, things had to always be clean. Like, we had a chore chart, and she controlled the chore chart. So, like, if she left for a weekend, she wasn't going to do chores. But if you were gone, like, I was gone the entire week once, and she still made me do chores because it was, like, my chore week. But she would, like, switch things around for her benefit. But, yeah, it was an okay living situation. But, like, I definitely felt like I got taken advantage of. But I also think that was, like, I was young and dumb and looking for a cheap place. But if you could honestly avoid ever living with your landlord, I would never fucking do it again. Like, it's absolutely fucking sucks. And it makes it really weird all the time. But yeah, I hope that helps.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's their house and they can do whatever the fuck they want. That's how I feel about it. And when I lived with my landlord, it was her house. It was whatever she wanted goes. And I understood that. Mm-hmm. You have to understand that this is not a friendship. It's a business relationship.
Yeah. And I think the callback, that's I think can be especially tricky when it's the parents who own it, because then it kind of feels like, oh, we're all lucking out. And then it's like, oh, no,
it's still their house at the end of the day. Because at that point, the parents might own it. But if you're thinking of it on like a landlord relationship, it's like the parents own it, but then the person that's staying there, their child, is like the manager of the building. Yeah, so they still have say.
She's the super.
Yeah.
The original caller from this episode, slide into our DMs. Please. You might already know, like, it might be like we're all on the same wavelength. But we would, we can, we'll tease it in the sense that we got a message after that episode when that call came out, and wasn't from the original caller. Mm-hmm. And we would love to discuss with you. And don't worry, we always
keep it discreet.
We do. And we always take screenshots. So receipts, baby. Receipts. Wow. Well, that's it for our episode. If you all enjoyed, please leave us a review on the podcast app. We would love it. If you want to listen ad-free, we're on Stitcher Premium. We also have our Patreon where you can watch all the video versions, only $1 a month. And then we also have our $5 tier, which really helps us continue to do this show and continues to let us keep the lights on and helps us out with the lack of ads that COVID has hit us with. So we would wholeheartedly appreciate that. We do 2 live streams a month, and they're like just Zooms where we like all hang out and talk about shit. We've done themed ones, unthemed ones, but it's a good time. And I also recommend that for people who are, maybe not having a ton of social interaction. If it's very friend-like, like it is very like gabbing with your friends,
gabbing with the gals and guys,
and it's a great non-binary pals. And it's also a great way to get to know other like listeners in the community. And there's like a lot of people who've become friends with each other through that. Like obviously through the Facebook group is a great way for people to like meet each other and become friends, but also especially through like the Zooms and live streams and stuff, you really get to know people, which always like warms my heart.
Me too.
If you want to call in for an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. International listeners, send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com under 3 minutes, 18 or over, or get your parents' permission otherwise. And follow us on socials. Watch my show on Food Network app.
Woohoo!
What else? A phone bank for Georgia. Let's help Georgia. Georgia. Anything else?
Georgia on my mind.
Anything you want to promote?
I've got several podcasts that I'm now producing that are new to the roster. So I've got Behind the Wheels, which is a show that dissects like hip hop and R&B music. It's very fun with the DJ, international known DJ that's done like parties with Issa Rae and like Will Smith and Jada Smith. Like he's a big deal. So
I should get Monts to listen. That sounds right up his alley.
It's fun. That one's brand new. Then I've got another one that I've produced before, but I'm back, bitches, on Just Between Us with Gabby and Allison. And then another one called Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood, which is a movie review show. If you watch The Astronomy Club on Netflix, 3 of the actors from that show are on there, and it's dissecting Black movies. So
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Boss bitch energy. Working so fucking much.
So much. So I love it.
She's smiling. She's surviving. Yeah. She's fucking surviving. Okay, guys. Yeah. Follow us on Instagram. Follow the podcast on Instagram. Buy my book. And that's it.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't be nice to racists. Don't Blame Me is a production by me, executive produced by Melissa D. Monts, edited by Katrina Henning, and music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Do you love Disney? Do you love top 10 lists? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the Magical Millennial.
And I'm the Dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. The parks, the movies, the music, the food, the lore. There is nothing we don't cover on our show.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed.
I had Danielle and Megan record some answers to seemingly meaningless questions. I asked Danielle what insect song is typically higher pitched in hotter temperatures and lower pitched in cooler temperatures.
You got this.
No, I didn't.
Don't believe that. About a witch coming true? Well, I didn't either. Of course, I'm just a
cicada. I'm crying. I'm so sorry, Jiminy.
You win that one.
So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, are you ready for some real talk and some fantastic laughs? Join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Monts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
We're serving up 4 hilarious shows every week designed to entertain and engage and, possibly enrage you.
In Don't Blame Me, we dive deep into listeners' questions, offering advice that's funny, relatable, and real.
Whether you're dealing with relationship drama or you just need a friend's perspective, we've got you.
Then switch gears with But Am I Wrong, which is for listeners who didn't take our our advice and want to know if they are the villains in the situation.
Plus, we share our hot takes on current events and present situations that we might even be wrong in our lives. Spoiler alert, we are actually quite literally never wrong.
But wait, there's more. Check out See You Next Tuesday, where we reveal the juicy results from our listener polls from But Am I Wrong?
And don't miss Fisting Friday, where we catch up, chat about pop culture, TV, and movies. It's the perfect way to kick off your weekend.
So if you're looking for a podcast that feels like a chat with your besties, listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.